Well, hello, it's me, Nancy Today. It says you're live. Look at that, I've been live for 5 seconds. Well, we're coming to you today from basket making land. As you can see behind me, look at that. That was a pine needle thing I made. It's quite beautiful, isn't it, actually? I think it's one of the best things I did. Looks like there's way more here than here. I never noticed that before. Interesting. Huh. It's quite obvious on here. Anyway, so I cut down a tree. It was in the view, and I don't like cutting trees down, but anyway, I cut this tree down, and it's pine trees. So I cut off like 8 feet from the top, and then there was all this trunk left, right? And so I couldn't just leave it like that. So I removed the little branches. Let me turn you around again. So I cut it, like there were lots of the branches coming here, right? Like they come in a whorl around a pine tree. So there was a whorl here and a whorl there, and there's one there and one. Actually, the whorl was probably between here and here, right? That's probably the way it went. Something like that. Maybe like this. Or whatever. Now I really got to make it fit. Oh, look, that's it. Da-dum, da-dum. I threw away the broken tiles on the floor in there the other day, and they all came out, and then the kids wanted to play with them like a puzzle, and so they put them all back together. Okay, so here, I'm sorry to show you these undressed. This is the bark that used to be on him. Guess I went that way. And so there were too many knots in one of these, this one, I guess. And so that was going to ruin the bark. It wasn't going to be able to come off in one big piece. So we chose to take the knife and cut again, and then peel it back. And you have to get enough of the layers. You see, some of it's left here. See, a really, really careful job would have probably brought all of this off at the same time. And when you take the bark off, this whole thing all the way down to the wood, you can feel that wood there. It's really hard, right? And here's the bark. But you see, it's trying to split. It's not the season to take it off. You should really do it in the spring when the sap is rising. But right now, I think the sap is going down, so I thought it would be okay to do it, since I thought it would be usable. And because they were such young trees. How old are they? Oh, isn't this interesting? Now I can have evidence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. So there should be 9 sets of those branches, something like that. Okay, so that's what you do there. You use a sharp knife and you take the whole layer. So it looked like this. So it was like one of those brown layers. That's what was here. So that's what we took off. And then one of them, I took it off in strips, and the other one, I was able to get it off because it had no holes in it. And so I think I'm going to make you stop making that noise, okay? There. She gets this thing in her head. She thinks everybody wants to come and visit with her. Okay, so here we... So now I'm going to explain to you what I did. So this is what it looks like once you've got it folded, and then you want your trim. You're gonna sew this trim on. You're gonna sew around and around and around. Now it's pretty thick. It's possible to thin it, but I have not. This is my first time making a whole basket out of pine bark. This is brand new for me. So let me take it in reverse. So here we have the basket, and on the outside we have a layer, and on the inside we have a layer, and those are just rings that go around the inside and one around the outside, and those will be the rim. And I put it this way because if it was turned the other side, it would just be the same as the basket. And I thought it would look nice to have it bigger, different. But I think it's too wide, you know. I think that it needs to be narrowed. It takes up the whole basket. Anyway, so what you do is you start and you stop and you butt the ends. But I haven't cut them yet. So I'm going to take it apart. Now you hold them on with clothespins as you work, as you press it together. Now because this is pine, and this part, you know, this is sticking to this, I believe, because it's tacky. So this is what happens if you don't pin it. And I'm seeing that the pinning it is they're able to fuse together somewhat. So I'm taking it apart so I can show you how to do it. So we'll start from the very beginning. Okay, so in the beginning there was a tree, and somebody thought it was in their view, and so somebody else went and cut it down, and they brought it home, and they took all the bark off. This must be where that bump that came from there. That's why there's a hole in the bark. So here's the bark. There was the beautiful tree. Oh, look at how it's shrunk already. Isn't that interesting? It's really getting, it's shrinking. That's amazing. That's a lot of shrinkage. So at this point, you decide how high do you want your sides. So here, it looks like the sides are pretty big. But once I had it actually up, they weren't that big. But you know, it wasn't, when I folded it, and then I had it like this, it would have made it, it might have been better if I had cut a little bit along the edge, just score it enough that I can get a nice clean side, you know? So then the idea here is, turns out that in order to make everything equal on the edges, my box was too small. So I had to bend it here. And then I thought I would try just folding the corner in. Just fold the corner in. And then when it looks like it's in about the right spot, put a clothespin on it. Hold everything. Now we have a problem. Do, 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 do. So we're just gonna put the clothespin on it. Now, what you could do is you could remove all this extra stuff here, which is on the inside there now, you see? All this extra, you don't have to have that there. You could cut that all away, and you could have just a straight cut there. But if you wanted to hold water, this is probably the best way, because then the water will stay in. So you put it in place and you put your clip on. Move to the next corner, and if you work this, you have to work it right away. Like I just took this off this afternoon, and I cut the tree down. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday. If you turn it over, you can see if it's square, if your corners are about right. It's probably all right. Now, some people cut them, and you know, they'll cut this, like they'll cut this along here, make a nice edge to it. But what I'm doing right now is just getting it in place, seeing that I can do it all correctly. I can't believe how much this bark shrunk today. So that's why you have to work it right away. So how's the bottom looking? Needs to be a little bigger corner. There. I just scoot the point of the fold, the very corner inside of the fold. I scoot it wherever I want it. If I want it to be bigger, is that pretty square? How does that look? Square to me. So now we need a rim. So I was thinking of putting this on backwards, but you know, now I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking this is too wide. So I'm going to get my knife out. Now I'm using a woodworking knife. It's probably not the best thing for the knife, but it sure makes it easy to work. Okay, so I think I'm going to trim these corners before I do that. I think I will. Which side do I want them to be trimmed on? Should I have the edges, should I have the sides square? Oh look, this is backwards. This one is folded on, these are folded on the sides. So I could cut this whole corner here away. You see? I could then fold it over, you see? Instead of folding it. And then I could pin it. It's pretty tacky. I could do that with this one. So just come up from the corner here. Now that I know where I want my corner to be. This is really supple. It's like leather. It's really feels like wrapping a present, isn't it? And you can see that my sides are not even at the moment, but that's okay because I'm going to fix all that. Actually, I want to use this here. I want to mend that a bit. This is a rip. So I'll do this from there. I'm running out of these little clips. Oh no, it's okay. I have one more to do. See how thick this is? It reminds me of hide. I tried tanning some hides once because I felt like learning. Put out a sign that said Hide Depot. And I got 40 hides. Seems like a ridiculously huge amount, but it's because it was hunting season. And people thought it was nice to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the corner here. I don't have to press that hard because it's so supple. Such an interesting texture. It's different than everything else I've used. It's not like cedar bark. Cedar bark is much different. There. So now I don't have the bulk in the corners, but it won't be as waterproof. Unless I go get pine tar. Put that on it. I need another few clothespins. Here's one. Yippity dippity doo. Okay. So let's turn you around again. So here we have it. So I did not know that you could make a basket out of pine bark. I mean, to me, a pine tree, this is a white pine, and it's young. I mean, it's only 8 years old, right? And so I think it's possible that you might be even able to use, no, you can't. Anyway, I had no idea about this, but this is pine bark. See this dark stuff? The Cherokee Indians made this, or the native, or the indigenous Cherokees. Well, I don't know what you call anybody anymore. Anyway, so that is what this is going to look like as it wears. But this has got the outer bark taken off. So you see, this is actually 2 layers. Can you see that little difference there? So you could actually separate it and have the 2 layers. But, you know, like when you're doing cedar bark, you can also split it. You take a knife and put it right along the edge. You know, you hold it with one hand, you use the knife in the other hand, and you make a score right in the very center. And it has to go all the way to the center. It can't just be straight. You have to flatten this out. And then you can divide it. And you do that by pulling on one end like that and pulling on the other end at the same time, very gently. And then if one side is thicker than the other, the thicker side is the one that pulls a little more. And so you're curling it away the whole time. You don't just pull it. Because if you do that, like, I think I've shown you this before, if you just pull this, what's going to happen? Am I going to get a half a thing all the way down? No, it's just going to whizzle out just like that. See, same thing for here. Hey, how's low battery? I've got you plugged in here. Well, anyway. Okay, so now let's make the handle, or not the handle, the rim. We could put a handle on. Would you like a handle? Nah, we don't need a handle. Handles are too much trouble. So we could take one of these. Now I think it's going to take a few. I think it's going to take about 4 because this doesn't go all the way around, you see? So you were going to wrap it all the way around, and we're going to wrap another one around to meet it. But I'm going to have to do some trimming here, and I don't have anywhere for you to go. So you are going to get to stick your face in the basket. You can, what are we doing here? Okay. See, this is so thick. See, the way you open it up now, if you were going to, you would hold it, put your thumbs like that and make fists, and you hold both sides in your thumb, and then you very slowly do this. And if I really was going to do this, I would be pulling the fat one away from the thin one, and it would get thicker, but I don't want that to, because I want to get rid of this stuff. Except that's pretty big, so I think I'll leave all that there. So here we're just going to score right down the center. Is that enough? Water up my nose. Not really a very good one. Okay, so I guess I'll cut it in half. It didn't go all the way through, which is good, because otherwise it would ruin my beautiful woven towel, which it shouldn't be under. I'm doing this to show you, but it's not working very well. Okay. So there's 2 of them. We'll make 2 more. Oh, that's the best way to do it. It's just to lift it up while cutting. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There was a knot at that spot. It was not at the spot. You have to put weight on it. You can't just do it in the air, or else you'll definitely go crooked. Okay. Now it would be nice if these were thinner. Let's see if we can split it. So you go right along the edge. Right at the end. And you do this. And you cut until you're into the center. You might not really be at the center at the beginning. So find the center. And then, now you do this. Very carefully. Anyway, so see, this is a little bit too, you need to cut the end off first. There we go. All right. Okay, here we go. So this is a fat side. I don't want it to be so fat, so I'm pulling that side away. And it's giving more to the other side. I have to keep it in the middle. It's very important. Now here we have some kind of a flaw in the bark. Might try and wreck it while it's going so nicely. Oh. Oh, shoot. You do run that risk if you try and thin it. You get twice as much bark, but some of it might be unusable. Or short pieces like that. Uh-oh, here's another short piece. It's because of all the knots that were in this one, I guess. That's just why we couldn't make a regular flat, basket with it. Could just use it as weavers. Need better light on this, don't we? Hey, Willem? 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 Yeah? Would you play the piano? Would you play Schubert?
I don't know Schubert.
Well, whichever one it is, it keeps going to da 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 da.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so here we go. We've got this. It did work. Look at that. So we have this thin one, and we have the other one. Okay. So that's a nicer thickness, I think. Look at that. That's much better. So now we'll here, this is too high in here, so I'm going to cut that off. Just like an ironing board, eh? Put it over the corner. See, now this will stick on both sides. So this is the other stuff that it doesn't really look as good, does it? It's just a very thin bark. So in a way, we're just peeling this inner bark. You shouldn't really be harvesting this in the autumn, especially when it's just about freeze up. But I figure it was a young tree, and I thought that the bark, the sap is probably running. It's running down, but it runs back up in the day and down at night. So that would mean that this would be doable. Problem here, it gets pretty thin because the whole thing is thin. You don't want it to break. But it's not weight bearing, it's just decorative at this point. So isn't that a nice piece? Doesn't really look super duper, does it? So this one butts up against the last one. Actually, this needs to be thicker here to cover this joint. So I think, or wider, I guess. So this is time consuming, eh? This is Debussy. Is this fun? Are you enjoying this? So I'm really just learning about how pine bark works. You know, you go see a pine tree and the bark is so hard and thick. Think, how in the world are you going to make that into a basket? Well, that's not the part you use. That's the outer skin. This is the under layer. Except when the bark is thin like this, you can do that. I don't usually come upon freshly felled trees that are alive. Happy Thanksgiving. This is not our Thanksgiving. Today is just a day because we had ours. Our harvest was a while ago. We're in Canada, you know. So our Thanksgiving comes earlier too. You don't want to have Thanksgiving when winter has already set in. But this year, well, it's been sort of a wild year, hasn't it? Hello, Willem. Thank you. Was that Debussy?
The last one, yeah.
I do believe I love that.
You know that?
I love that one, yes. One of my favorites.
What you doing?
I'm making a basket.
New strips of bark.
Yeah, this is from the pine, one of those pine trees I had to take down.
Mm-hmm.
So once I get this whole thing on, I'll put one on the inside, and then I will take I'm lapping them over one another just because it's so tacky. I think it'd be a good idea to have it it'll stick to it all better. Okay, so that's the outside. Now we need one for the inside. Now, since we could use the other ends of these, since that's the kind of, I was thinking it'd be nice if we had an alternate color on the inside. So I think I'll try and use these little pieces. It doesn't matter that they're not all connected, as long as they go all the way across. Connections below, like in the basket. You see here. Okay, here we have this connection, and then we have a joint, a rip in the basket itself here at the corner, right there. And so, and then we have this piece here, which is, you know, flappy. So we want this piece to go at least past all those things. So this is the sticky side out. But you know, pine tar is used for has been used forever for making things waterproof, watertight. So here's another one of those. This doesn't have to be so long. Now you could hold on, I have to cut this one off now too. Where'd that knife go? Guess you saw it fall. Okay, where's I gonna trim that? Right here. So we've got our inner one on. Some there. And it runs out. We have this big piece. Oh wait, this goes the other direction. Hey, you know what? This is thick enough, or wide enough. Sorry about that. It's wide enough that you're sitting up here on a log, sorry. It's wide enough that I could, oh dear, I was trying to get you to stay there. I can see down below. So I could cut it. It looks like the bark runs the other way. Oh my goodness, sorry. I don't believe in water bottles, just so you know. Okay, so now this is shrinking. No, it's not. Silly kid. Silly ideas. Oh, this goes inside out. I turned it wrong. No wonder I couldn't see it on the camera. So see here where it's sticking up? Here. I can trim it off if I need to. Well, what's going on here? Everything is falling apart. These are sticking together quite well. So I like the fact that it's going to help it to hold together. All right, so this on the inside and the outside. And these come to here and join. And everything looks pretty good there. Let's see the outside. The inside, I still lack some ring. It starts here. So I have these pieces I've been playing with. It's good enough just to butt up against each other because it's all going to be tacked on. I mean, all going to be sewn on soon. All right, it's all the way around the inside. Are we still square? Now I'm gonna going to do this corner. I'm going to make it so the corner lays really flat and it'll stick together there. And I'll have to cut the top of it later. That's okay. And this one here is also over and above. It's over the top. Suddenly, I have got a cold. Suddenly, what in the world is that from? The wonderful pinene, the terpene that I smell. Now this would be better if those were the same width. But there's always some way to make everything better. But it's okay if things are not always better. I have to trim the edge, I guess. It's not quite such a shock. This is so cool. I've never worked with pine bark. So I've said that a few times already. It's kind of like willow bark. Now when this stuff dries, it's going to be impossible. It's going to be rock solid. Okay, so now I think we are ready to sew it. Ta-da! So let me get the roots. Other things I was working on here. The cedar bark. I was making a little cedar bark basket. But now for this one, we've got a bunch of these roots. Which are what you see around. Come on, turn around. Okay, so we have to get our roots ready. This root is probably pretty good, but I think I could probably split it again. You use a knife like this, you use it so that its motion is this, so you can't cut yourself. Okay, I have to sit down. Oh, hello. I'll move this over so we can see each other. And how have you been? Have you had Thanksgiving dinner? Was it wonderful? It's wonderful for some people, not so much for others. So this process, I'm doing it by holding the knife like this, and I'm just pulling this vine upward. And I'm facing it towards myself so that I can see exactly where the knife is in the middle of it. Making sure I stay in the middle. Because I don't want to cut it. Ooh, I got a little close there. This is a carving knife for carving wood. Let's see if we can do it this way. So these roots, I harvested them a few days ago. I forget what was going on and where I did it. But so now here it's getting skinny on that side. So you bend the fat side away from it. See? And then it starts getting bigger. Look, there it is. It's back in the middle. Now this one's getting skinny. So you bend this one away from it. Now it's back in the middle. So in the northwest, in BC, the Tlingit, Tlinket, I don't know if that's how you say it, Tlingit. Anyway, they use cedar bark and spruce roots, or cedar roots. Uh-oh, it's getting very thin. I'm really into making baskets. I'm so glad. I love making baskets. But it's never the highest priority in the summer. It's one of those things that, it's a real elective. Oh, I'm going to sit down and play. Have to go harvest the willow. Looks like we're going to go back to Georgia in a couple days, when American Thanksgiving is over and the traffic has died down. Okay, so I've got these two nice roots, and together I'll be able to use them and go all the way around this lovely basket. I may need to make more, but I'll do that when I come to it. So now then, I don't want to start where there's a joint, but you can. But you might as well start somewhere else, because then you can just go past the joint, and if the end ever frays, it's not going to make the whole basket fall apart. So we'll start over here somewhere. Now, this one should probably be trimmed down. This one here. See, this is really thin, and that's really thick. But then I have to stop. I have to take it apart. Now, if I stop here and didn't do any more, then I wouldn't mind. But of course I can't, because it's going to dry out. Okay, I'll take it apart. Just this one off, and I'll thin it or narrow it. Because a piece of string, a piece of root, is going to take a whole lot more roots. And it's not necessary. So I'm going to just cut it. I tell you, I got my trailer stuck in the woods. I didn't. Ah. Okay, so this one kind of fell apart there. And the other part is a different place. This is probably good. So I'll just put it on around the top, just like we've done with the other parts. Then you need a big needle or an awl. Where's my awl? Be in my basket of basket making things. Where is that now? I wonder. Okay. So that's pretty good. So now we'll start somewhere that doesn't matter at all. So the way we start is we'll lay it alongside there first. Just tack it in. Okay? And then you put a hole and go over and through. So let me see what I can do on this side. So I'm making a hole below, in and out, below the rim. And then I'm going to stick this in the hole. Where are my basketry tools? Where are my basketry things? Okay, you're going to need to have a hard, sharp part. So maybe like that, just bent over. So I'm going to use it bent over. It'll be more like a needle that'll go through the hole. Okay. I'm going to put the end of it, I'm going to clip the end of it. So now I'm going to go around this. And you don't have to go, it doesn't have to be tight together or anything. In this case, I'm going to put it about this far away. See if I can figure out where the hole is. Here it is. Okay. So now it's just a matter of lashing. Or is that what it's called? And be careful with your root. Don't let it get too dry. You want this to be right up at the top edge. this way. You saw that, didn't you? Well, you could have said something. I would not have minded at all. Keep me on track here, you know? It's really hard to see where the hole is. And then lay it down really well. Make sure the inside and the outside are together at the top edge. And lay that over and make sure it comes over easily and doesn't need to break. Starts drying out, you have to wet it. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Sorry, I just have to stick this through the hole. Okay. Makes a little sort of a wet line where I went through, I think. Now I can't find it. This is a very fat part of the vine, but it'll give it some nice, what's the word, variety.
Just brush your teeth.
So are you guys enjoying this?
I said no, we're not. That's one. Brush your teeth. No, we're not. Stop looking at me. Why are you being rude?
La 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 la. La 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 la. I won't go in, I won't go in. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm making a video here. La 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 la. that's what it needed, a sharper end. My fingers are getting sticky. When your fingers get full of pine tar, just use oil. Rub your fingers with oil and then rub them together. What do you mean low battery clothes? Aren't you charging all this time even? I'm having fun. Sort of. I'm feeling a little. That really shows up, doesn't it? This is not good. There's a connection on this side and a connection on this side. Oh, but that's okay. That's not a connection, it's an overlap, which does not need to be there. Make sure your root is tight. Push it through. Make sure there's no slack in it somewhere. Or extra loop, you know. Doesn't look very nice and lovely, does it? We're getting there, making it around. through. There it is. And coming around the mountain. When she comes. Coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. We'll all have her zucchini when she comes. And we'll all have her zucchini when she comes. Oh, we'll all have her zucchini. All have her zucchini. All have her zucchini when she comes. And we'll ride the old red wagon when she comes. And we'll ride the old red wagon when she comes. And we'll ride the old red wagon. Ride the old red wagon, yes, we'll ride the old red wagon when she comes. I wonder how this pine tar will dry. I wonder if it'll actually dry and keep it all in place. So the best thing is going to be if I take one and go back the other way so they all become X's, and it will hold these things like this. I think this needs more help here. Other people that edit videos, they would have had most of this done in between. They would click forward, forward. Okay, now when this is done like that, you can just tuck it up underneath this. And it will disappear. You could like so. There, like so. And then you can cut that off. And then you need another piece. This is my I'm going to go back in that last hole. To be having a bit of a tough time there. Under the guess I should have come out the other way. It's too bad because that was my great point. This bark is going to be hard as a rock tomorrow. For the vines. Hi, Willem. There we go. Okay, next piece of, oops, sorry. It makes a bit of a wound on the inside when you put a hole through it, which you can't see on the outside. There we go. I wonder where all my basket making stuff is. Oh. It's only one layer thick. What's the problem? If I twist the knife just before I pull it out, and it creates a bit more of a circular hole. So as I said before, this is white pine. Come on, go through. Oh, need some tweezers. You know. It's like the sap has closed in on it and is keeping it from going through. See there, in the root. Try not to let it twist. Keep it. We're getting there. Pretty cool, eh? Pen. Oh well. It is what it is not. Okay, another root. Oh, we have one here. We're drawing out of it. Okay. So I'm going back in the same hole I stopped in. I'll leave a little bit of this up in between here. I'm going back under the last bit, under there. I fell down today and hurt my knee. I won't go in the hole again. Put my knife in the hole and turn it sideways. There. That worked. Have you ever tried making a basket? Seems to act quite a lot like leather. This bark. Did it go through? There we go. This doesn't seem to be tall enough to catch. There. Just have to take the side down a little bit. See. But I have a hole in the basket here. Because there was a crack in the side. disappeared completely. Hey, you're getting to see the real McCoy, eh? I've lost my shape. But you know what this means? It means all of my rim pieces are in the wrong place now. Or at least this one on the inside, I guess, down here is. Oh, but that's not too bad. It was almost there already. Now this might all shrink, and when it gets very hard, if things are crooked, that's how they'll stay. My back is hurting. How's yours? Okay, I'm tucking this under here. It's important to hold things tightly under the root. A lot of layers it has to go through here. suppose I should take a break. So I'll just go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you eventually. And see, then afterwards we can sew those on. Okay. I think I'm going to be done for a while, okay? Was that fun? See you later. Bye.